Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my Monday messages. For those of you who may be new to this video, I am a homeopath. I'm a QTT coach practitioner and a holistic life coach and all-round natural health advocate. So I pop in here on a Monday just to share any thoughts that I might have, any methods, anything really to help us to stimulate movement towards health, physically, emotionally, or spiritually, and to instigate any changes that we might want in our lives in a healthy and sustainable way. So I am just recently back from my holiday in Spain, which was absolutely lovely. Really loved the heat every day, and particularly loved meeting up with one of my sisters and her husband. So it was a beautiful holiday. And I'm actually really genuinely glad to be back home as well, because it's kind of reminded me of all the wonderful parts of the life that I've created, and all the things that I really value and that sustain me on a daily basis. It's nothing like stepping away from those to really highlight them and bring them back into focus. So I'm raring to go again and feeling fully recharged, which is, of course, the point of a holiday in the first place. So today, I wanted to do two things. The first thing is that I just want to give a reminder, might be news to some of you, that I'm currently running an offer at the moment, special offer of 20% off all back to school consultations. So that's consultations for children or teenagers or college students, actually, returning or starting education again after the long summer break. And I know that college students won't have gone back yet, I don't think, but school students will have done. And that can bring up all kinds of shifts and changes. It can be behavioural, it can be sleep disruption, it can be bowel habit disruption, it can be appetite interruption, it can be all sorts of things, as children have to negotiate a lot of changes when they go back to school. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that, then just message me and I'll send you a link to book with that 20% off offer. And that ends at the end of this month, September 30th. So you've got, I think, a couple of weeks to take advantage of that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that when I got back, I had several requests from my newer clients, just asking me for repeat prescriptions because the prescription had worked well. And that's really, really good. I'm really pleased to hear that. But it prompted me to just remind everybody that that's something I don't do. And actually no homeopath will do that. No self-respecting homeopath will just issue repeat prescriptions, no matter how well they've worked, without some kind of check-in. And the reason for that is that we are working to a completely different paradigm to that of the pharmaceutical model. So the pharmaceutical model is seeking to suppress whatever the body is doing, to stop the expressions that come out that may be uncomfortable or alarming, any of those things. And therefore, that suppression has to take place forever in a lot of cases, or until the body gives up doing what it's meant to be doing and tries to do something else, in which case a drug change might be required. But mostly when you're dealing with chronic illness, you're offered repeat prescriptions indefinitely without much of a check-in. That's not how homeopathy works. Homeopathy works on 3 different central core rules, if you like. The first one being the law of similars. So like cures like. So that is finding a substance that most closely resembles whatever a person is doing when they're expressing illness in any form. So it requires very careful observation, and it requires a lot of questioning, and it leads to the next rule, which is that it's bespoke, it's individual. There isn't, or there are, there are a few exceptions, but there isn't a remedy for a disease. There are several remedies, many remedies in some cases, for different expressions of a disease state. So we're always looking at how the individual is actually experiencing whatever they're experiencing. And it will come down to tiny little details, like one person might be hot and the other person might be cold. Simple as that. And that will lead you to 2 very different remedies. Now, the third rule is the minimum dose. And that is that we only ever give the minimum amount necessary to stimulate and sustain meaningful changes, healing changes, changes that indicate that the person is rebalancing, reharmonizing, and able to work towards health and sustain it. So sometimes when we question people after a first prescription or a third prescription or a 28th prescription, doesn't matter what, it may be that the assessment of the professional homeopath is that everything that is meant to be happening is happening, and energy is flowing again, cells are communicating with each other. The body or the mind or the soul, all 3 hopefully, are doing what needs to be done to work towards health, and therefore there is no further stimulation needed at this time. So more than a lot of other health models, we can say you don't need anything. You don't need any remedies at this time, which is something that some people find very odd or discombobulating, because there is a lack of faith in our own bodies. And that's something I'm going to talk about later on. The next possibility when we're assessing somebody after a prescription is that healing has started, but it's very, very low level. And therefore, the state of the person hasn't significantly changed. There's been little shifts which indicate that things, have responded to the stimulation, but further stimulation is needed from the same remedy. There may be a change of potency required or a change of repetition. And the third possibility is that a massive amount has happened. There's been lots of detoxification or elimination, or significant shifts that mean that the person is actually in a completely different state. Now, obviously, if that's a really healthy state and there's nothing going on that's prohibiting that person in any way, and they're feeling top of their game, again, you'd send them off without a prescription. They don't need any further stimulation. But if what often happens is they've just peeled off a layer and there's another state underneath that's maybe stopped, that's maybe got a bit stuck again, then you would prescribe based on that state, and therefore it would be a different remedy from the one that was originally prescribed. So those are the 3 main reasons why you wouldn't slavishly just repeat a prescription. And it is what I love about, one of the many things I love about homeopathy, it is a collaboration between the practitioner and whoever you're dialoguing with. And if it's parents, then obviously it's the parents of the child that you're working with. Or if it's an adult consultation, then you're working obviously with the adult. But you're very dependent on the observational skills of that parent and relation, or whoever is in charge of that child. We depend utterly on the feedback that is forthcoming from the person that we're speaking to. So that's why I'm very keen to say record. Even if changes are temporary and then things maybe slip back a bit, it gives me good information. And so it's teamwork, always teamwork. So I hope that is a good reminder for those of you who might be thinking, well, why would you change a really good remedy? It's done good work, and it's, nothing, my child or I have still got a named disease or a diagnosis. So why would you change the remedy? It's because it's bespoke, because there's the tenet of the minimum dose, which is the next rule actually of homeopathy. That we only give the minimum amount required, and that the state that we're prescribing on is no longer the same as it was when we first saw that person. So I hope that's clear. I hope it's helpful. It is just a reminder going forward that when you work with homeopathy, you are working in a very different way to that of pharmaceutical medicine. And sometimes that can feel quite challenging. I know myself that when I'm ill, which I'm not very often, but when I do get ill, I can very easily tip into a very allopathic state, in that I just want it over, just want it gone. And I have to just check myself often that, I can do that, but there's a cost to pay, and that I would rather things happen a little bit more slowly and permanently, and that there's no kind of fallout from that, if you like. So that's it, a little bit of a recheck-in with the basics of homeopathy. If anybody's interested in learning more about that, then I do have a course that I run, which is available, and just, again, message me and I'll send you the details of that. If you do want to have a chat about anything at all, homeopathy, QTT, coaching, back to school consultations, anything like that, you can always book a free clarity call with me, and the link to that is in the post with this video, or you can again message me and I'll send you a link. Okay, thanks very much. Have a beautiful week and look forward to meeting you or chatting with you at some stage. Take care. Bye.